Hi everyone, and welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be doing some painting with tints and shades. So you're going to need a white piece of paper, maybe one's a little thicker, maybe not cardstock necessarily, but construction paper, cardstock, or just a nice thick paper. I wouldn't use printer paper or notebook paper for this. And then I also have some water-based tempera paint. So this is really nice because they blend together really well, and I don't really have to add a lot of water to them. And I put them already to go on an old Kula container lid. Maybe you're using a plastic plate or a scrap piece of cardboard or paper to put your paint on. I like to use something that I can throw away or clean easily, like a paint palette if you have one, or a nice too. And we're going to go ahead and get started today. You're also going to want a pencil. This is going to help us kind of get our areas down of where we're going to be painting ahead of time. And I'm going to press kind of hard, but you'll want to press lightly so that you can't see through. I'm going to draw kind of a medium-sized circle. Anywhere in your paper is fine. You can have off-center, maybe you want it dead center. That's up to you. I'm going to do another circle, like a target. And I'm going to keep doing that. They don't have to be evenly spaced. We'll do another circle. This one's going to be kind of running off the paper. That's alright. Notice when I do my paintings, I have a black paper or scrap paper underneath, or newspaper or cardboard, so that if I do get off the edge of my paper, it's not a big deal. Let's go ahead and do one more kind of circle, do a lap around. So I kind of have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rings. If you have more or less than that, it'll still work out just fine. Now we're going to go ahead and paint, and I'll kind of explain what our colors are as we go. You don't need to clean your brush if you do it the way I do it, but it's always nice to have maybe a water cup and a tray nearby if you need to clean off, or maybe you're close to a sink. So I can get in here. I'm going to have a nice clean paintbrush. And I'm going to work light to dark today with my colors. So notice I had white, I have black, and I chose purple. If you're at home, you don't have to use purple. Another nice color that works with this, blue does, and so does green. I don't really recommend using orange or yellow for this project, because when you're adding your black and your white, you'll notice that you kind of don't get the nicest looking tints or shades. But it's okay if you chose those colors. I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush into the white. And I know sometimes it seems silly, why are we painting a white page white, Mrs. Berner? Because we're going to do some blending and mixing today, so it's nice to have that nice gooey white paint. So my first circle, that inner circle, is just white. If your palette's big enough, you can mix on your palette or you can mix on your paper. But I'm going to go ahead and add some white to another part of my palette. And then I'm going to scoop up a little blue, or purple, sorry. I'm going to stir that really, really good. If it's not light enough, you can always go back and add more white. Let me do that. Just have this nice kind of lilac purple. It looks like kind of like Laffy Taffy purple or taffy. When you get it all mixed up, we're going to go ahead and do our second circle, our second ring, that tint. So I added white to purple and created a tint of purple, that light purple. And I'm going to move that all around. Your paint should go on fairly smooth, especially if you're using that washable paint. Mix it around. If you didn't make enough, it can get really tricky to mix that same color. So you could always make your circle a little skinnier if you need to, and then just make more of your next color. Around. And I'll leave it up to you. If you want to kind of blend this with that first color, that white, you can. If not, keep going around. You can have those nice sharp lines. All the way around. If you get kind of that dry look, you're not getting enough paint on your brush, so scoop up some more. And I'm spreading out the paint that I already have, so I don't have those big globs anywhere. so it's nice and smooth. If you have some really dry paint at home, a little bit of water helps you out a lot. Okay, we're going to mix another tint. So I still need purple, I still need white, but I'm going to have more purple than white this time. So it should look a darker tint. Still going to be a light purple, but it should look just a little bit darker than the first one you had. I'm going to mix that next tint up really good. Notice I did it in the same spot because I was just darkening that tint. So it'll mix together really nice. I haven't cleaned my brush at all. I told you you wouldn't if you do this correctly. And I'm going to start that third ring, or that third circle. Scooping up lots. Painting kind of quickly because this paint's going to dry and soak into that paper pretty quick. I'm kind of working inwards to out, because if I do run out of the color I mixed up, and I'm not trying to match that tint, I could just add my third or fourth ring in, whichever one you're on. Keep scooping it up, moving around, getting pretty quick so it don't dry. Trying to keep that edge either blended or smoothed out next to that other tint there. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to try to use it up. I don't want to waste a bunch of paint, so I tried to make just the right amount to fill that ring, like a quarter size of paint. Moving and working around here. I'm almost done with this ring. I'm going to be ready for my fourth here. This next one's going to be really easy. Keep moving until it's pretty full. And I kind of knew early on that I may not have quite enough to fill this ring, but I already knew I'm not worried about that. I'll just make my next ring bigger. And this next one's really easy because we're not going to mix anything. Alright, my next one's super easy because I'm just going to be using purple. So I'm making sure that I got most of that tint of purple off my brush, pretty clean. And this next one, this 1, 2, 3, 4th ring, can be my just purple. I made this one the biggest too, that 4th ring, because I knew it's just going to be purple. I'm not mixing with anything, which is really nice. Round, round, round. Smoothing it out. If I have a lot of my paper, I don't need to move my brush back to my palette yet. Get those globs out of there. Notice my brush is kind of all going the same way. It's following that circle, so I don't get that kind of paint scribble scrabble. I'm going all different directions. I'm just kind of gliding along in that circular shape, that curved motion with my hand. I paint pretty quick because I've painted a lot. If you're a little slower, it's okay. You'll get more comfortable. Just gonna keep filling. If it helps you to turn your paper, you can. Just make sure that you don't touch the paint you've already made. And notice with this, I worked to the center and I worked my way out so that I'm not touching paint, that I'm not putting my arm in. I'm holding my brush a little more up and down than I normally would, a little more vertical, because I don't want to lay my hand in my paint. I'm also keeping my paper far away from my t-shirt or your paint shirt, so that we're not accidentally bending over and getting it all over our clothes. If you have a paint shirt or an art shirt or smock or apron, today's one of those nice days to wear it, or wear an old outfit so we don't get our nice clothes all gooey and gross. We'll keep going. I'm almost done with that 4th ring. As my bigger ones, it's going to take some more time. If you had a bigger brush, this is a good time to switch over to that bigger brush. I like to stick with one so I have less cleanup. And I like how smooth this brush working for me right now. This one went all the way to the corner. So I'm going to fill up that edge. Again, if you're painting, it's always nice to keep it on a surface you can clean easily. or have something underneath your art. It can help you move it later too. The last one we're going to do today is a shade. So I'm going to take some purple, kind of make a new spot for it, and then I'm also going to scoop up some of that black and mix it together. Purple is one of those colors that when you create a shade, it gets dark really fast. It's already such a dark shade. Switch it in. If it's too black, keep adding that purple to it. And kind of see how much space you have in that last ring. Mine's not too big. I don't need a ton. Mine's still looking pretty dark. There we go. Stir in, mix until it's all one color again. And then I'll be ready to add my shade to the last ring of my art. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm on to my 5th. And you can see that purple in it a lot better once it gets in that white. Going right up to the edge of just that purple. Spreading out all that color all the way up to the edge. The only white space you should have on your paper is that white that you painted at the very beginning. I got that little bit right there. When you're all done, you're going to want to leave this to dry or set it aside to dry. Clean or throw away your palette. Clean out your paintbrush and let it dry so that it's good to go. And then you're going to have this nice background. Save this art. You're going to need it for part 2 or next week of our assignment. I hope you had fun today. I can't wait to see everybody's awesome artwork, and I hope you had fun.